Hello, Tim O'Kelly. Really pumped to bring you this very simple tool that you can use. And if you haven't heard much about me, you don't know much about me, I just want to make it really simple right now that's what I'm about. Of 25 years of personal development, I've got to a stage in my life where give me what is going to work that I can use right now that is going to produce immediate results. And I'm not talking about a quick fix. I'm not talking about how to make $1 million in one day. That's not what I'm talking about, but tools that I can practice that are simple tools that are going to produce me results. Okay, that's going to produce me more energy. It's going to produce me to being happier today. It's going to produce me to be more connected to my wife, to my family, to my kids, to go on an airplane today and to travel and to be effective. Just what can I do? That's all I'm about. So this simple tool right here takes absolutely nothing to do. It takes a little bit of effort. But I tell you what, the results that people who have done this, you see it in the world. The Golden Gate Bridge, if you've ever seen the Golden Gate Bridge, right? If you've read any great, brilliant books, if you've ever listened to music that has been, I don't know if you ever listened to a song and go, how in the heck did they ever come up with that, right? Skyscrapers, the Singer Sewing Machine. I'm kind of dating myself on that one, right? Wrigley's Spearmint Gum, all Wrigley's gum, right? Manufacturing, creation, producing product, producing things that you go, how did people think of that? Producing apps right now that you go, why didn't I think of that? You know, producing new ways on the computer that operate, taking that. Remember back in the day, you took a picture. That's all it was. Well, I was even talking about this yesterday. We used to take a picture, and then we couldn't wait for 3 days to see the picture. See how far we've come. You take a picture now, you see it instantly. Well, not only now can you take a picture and see it, you can enlarge the picture. I mean, how crazy is that? Well, where's all this come from? Everything that's really been produced that's great and even not so great all came from an idea. Even if someone gave you the idea, well, they came up with an idea and shared it with you. Okay? This wall right here behind me has been really created twice. Yes, once in the physical realm where the construction people came in and built and erected the wall. Painted, and there we got it. But it had to be created someplace else. It had to be an idea in somebody's mind first. Everything that you see, all the cars out there was in one man's mind. Came up with the idea for a car, 4 wheels, it moved. There was a time where they didn't have that. There was a time we didn't have computers. We had a home phone. We have cell phones. So all this technology, and you've heard some of the biggest names, right? They're no different than you or I. And I know that might be hard to swallow right now, but as far as the makeup of a human being, the elements that make up a human being, they're no different than you or me. The only thing different that these people do is they come up with incredible ideas. Well, guess what? You have the same tools they do in your brain to have the same thing happen. But the one thing we don't do that they do, meaning if we're not producing results we want to, there's one thing we're missing. For you to get an idea, well, let's look at that. Right when I did that, I thought of a plant. For you to get a plant, right, to harvest, to grow, what do you got to do? Well, you got to plant a seed. You don't walk out to a barren area of a garden and then hopefully that there's going to be fruit there, there's going to be corn there, no, it doesn't happen that way. You got to plant the seed and then it grows. You got to plant something for it to grow. Okay, so now what am I talking about? How do you get ideas? You've got to plant the seed. Now, what's plant the seed mean? Very simple process. You've got to start asking more questions. And I'm not talking about, and it's fine to go out and ask other people questions. That's not what I'm talking about. But you've got to start asking more questions of yourself. What do I mean by that? Thomas Edison, okay, the light bulb. How did he come up with the idea? After 1,000 or so, I don't know, I'd have to look at the numbers again, failures on that. But I tell you what, he attempted it, and finally he got it because he made shifts every time. Because all he did was he used his mind, and he knew that he was connected. He knew he was connected to infinite intelligence. I don't know if you've ever heard this before or thought about this before, that what if we're all connected, then there can be no separation. Then if we're all connected, we've got to be connected to infinite knowledge. There's nothing new in the world. Your iPhone, your iPad, all that makes up an iPad has been in the universe the whole time. There's nothing new. So we've got to be, and that's what Thomas said, believe. We've got to be connected to the answers. Then he said this, if you can come up with an idea, the solution already exists. You would not be able to come up with the idea if the solution didn't already exist. So how do you come up with a solution? You ask questions. You ask questions, your brain has to answer them. I don't know if you've ever heard of this internal conversation, or you've really been aware of this internal conversation. You got internal conversation going on all the time. You might see a car driving down the street and you're like, man, I love that car. Have you ever heard that little voice inside go, it's too expensive? You're single and you're walking, down campus, or you're walking through business or whatever, and you see someone like, oh my God, he's hot, she's hot. And then you have that little internal, yeah, she's a 10, you're a 6. What are you doing? Have you heard that internal conversation that really runs? Well, that's a different part of our mind. We are always in communication. Every time you ask your brain a question, by the way, your brain is designed, it will answer it. It will give you an answer. Now, what's weird about it is it might not always be the right answer. But the way the brain is designed, and again, you can go study this if you want to spend more time with that, but it will give you an answer. Remember Thomas Edison? It gave him an answer. He applied it. It didn't work. Gave him another one. As long as you keep going for it, you're going to get it. One of my mentors who passed away recently, Wayne Dyer. In conversation with Wayne Dyer, he really said, I've never written a book. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. You got a ghostwriter that did all that? He's like, oh, no. What he meant by that was he didn't write it. What he does at night, and I guarantee you've heard this before, sleep on it. Well, yes. That's a way to use our mind that all you have to do is tonight go to bed and ask yourself a question. And what I mean by that is just in your mind, ask the question. Imagine you're asking it to somebody, but you're asking it to yourself. How do I need to be tomorrow to be the most successful? I'm going on an interview tomorrow. How do I need to be? What do I need to say? You can even do this. How do I need to dress for this? Any question that you want to answer to, you've got to ask yourself the question. And some people go, well, I don't even know those answers. Watch what happens. You'll have ideas come into your mind that you didn't know before. Okay? So, like for example, how I really use this is, given whatever I've got to do tomorrow, I'll go into my mind and just very simply, how do I need to be tomorrow to be the most effective? And then get off of it. Go to sleep and watch what happens tomorrow. I'll start having ideas come to me. And in my team, when our team gets together, every time our team gets together, I know that's what we're all doing. We're all looking for ideas. We're looking for answers. And that's what's created these. That's what's created these videos. That's what's created this work. Is just asking those great questions. What can I do to contribute to this world better? What can I do to be a better employee? What can I do to be a better husband? What can I do to be a better father? Those are phenomenal things that you can do, and watch the answers that come to you. Now, the other part of it is the challenge, and Mr. Edison showed us this. Go do it. Go follow up on that. And yes, it might have taken him 1,000 attempts, but he was interviewed and said, I'm the only person who knows 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. Different attitude, right? But to practice them. If you have an idea come into your mind, go do it and watch what happens. So go to bed tonight, start practicing it. Go to bed tonight and ask yourself a great question. What do you want to know the answer to? What do you want to know the answer to? Well, then ask it of yourself. And then listen the next day. Listen to the next day and then apply it. Practice it. Watch what happens. Do it tonight. Do it every night. And if anything's going to happen, you don't do it one night, no big deal. All right? Thank you very much for being a part of these videos. Check out all the other ones. Thank you very much for checking us out.